Hi guys, if you want to see some interesting things, we're going to show you some tips on spinnerbaits today at Bartlett Lake. There's a fish right there. Oh man, he's down in the sticks. There's a nice fish for Bartlett right there. Spinnerbait fish. Hey guys, we're up at Bartlett Lake and we thought we'd come up and show you a few tricks with spinnerbaits. I make a lot of my own spinnerbaits, but it's just a nice average fish for Bartlett Lake right now. Nice and fat, you know. Got a crawdad down in there, good color. You can see that belly out there sticking out. But yeah, let's keep fishing here and see what we can get. We'll let him go. Right now, I'm starting with just a chartreuse and white spinnerbait. You know, I make blades with white and gold. I adjust it towards the water, so whatever the water clarity is the way I like to make my blades. This is a silver blade and a gold blade because the water clarity here is just not the best. If I'm in real clear water, like, you know, maybe Main Lake or something, then I'll throw you know, like silver blades or something like that, you know. But we're just trying to find different things up here just to look around and stuff. It's nice to come up during the week and nobody's here. So we'll just keep pounding some of this area out. What I'm doing is I'm just throwing this blade out. You know, there's little stick ups here. It's only like 4 feet deep. So I'm just throwing it out. And there's a lot of guys that fish spinnerbaits different ways. I learned from one of the better guys that fishes spinnerbaits his whole life and fished with him on the boat a few times. He likes to just kind of point that rod right towards the spinnerbait. And says he gets more fill about it. Instead of holding it to the side or whatever, he just kind of points it at it and then he just throws it out and just lets it bump into the trees and stuff. You got to do that to get a reaction bite, you know. You'll see me every once in a while go like this, you know. That's because I'm hitting tree limbs. You know, I'm coming through all these tree limbs out here. I don't like to make super long casts towards the bank because it's quite a ways off, but because then I'll have to spook the fish to go get the spinnerbait. So I'm just kind of fishing these outer limbs and stuff here first, and then I'll move up and see if I can get some of those up by the rocks. You know, sometimes those fish are eating crawdads up there. So we're just going to keep trying this, just nice and slow. We're just slow rolling this. Oh, we got another one, folks. It's coming in. Nice, healthy little fish, I'll tell you. Let's just flip him right in here. I switched to spinnerbaits a little bit just to try something a little bit different. I put a little smaller one on. The other one I was using was 1/2 ounce. Now I put a little 3/8 ounce, and I made the skirt a little bit different, a little bit lighter color of a chartreuse. Just a nice little fish, you know. Right now, fishing is tough out here. It's mid-August, end of August, and boy, I tell you, these are the dog days of August. It's just hard to get these fish to bite, but that does happen, you know. I'm still sticking with the same blade color. I'm still sticking with the chartreuse, the gold blade and the silver blade. So I'm trying that. And right now, before the sun comes up, it's really shallow here. I'm only a couple feet deep is all I am. So I got to venture back over a little bit to where it's a little bit deeper. Same thing, I'm just kind of just bumping the wood, you know, just kind of throwing it out. And typical areas like I like to throw to is some of this big stuff right here. I'll throw it. And if I can hit a limb or hit something to reflect off that spinnerbait, you know, those fish is just like fishing a crankbait. It's the same way. You want to deflect this spinnerbait off of the wood. Usually in the summertime, it's hard to get a spinnerbait bite, you know, unless the fish are shallow like this. A lot of times I can go out on the main lake where it's, you know, deeper and slow roll the spinnerbait down deep. We may do that a little bit later just to show you, but we thought we'd just come up here, what's nice, and Nobody's up here. We got this all to ourselves and get to see a lot of pretty birds up here and stuff, and just try to get some of these fish just to hit this thing. I'm kind of making short casts too. I'm staying close to the boat, you know, so that I don't get stuck in some of this heavy timber and then I got to take the boat up there and spook the fish. I keep my trolling motor on low, real low speeds, so that I'm not stepping on it and making waves and a lot of sound. I'm just trying to be really, really quiet. I'll throw it right in amongst of all these trees, these little stick-ups, just to see if any of them are just are staying in these heavier brush. But right now, early in the morning, I can tell you that those fish will just be roaming around. They just roam all over through here. So I'm just gonna make random casts, you know, just keep casting and slow rolling that thing, just nice and slow. Just, I'm not waking the spinnerbait or anything like that. I'm just throwing it right, bumping off all the limbs. I can just feel that thing bump, 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 you know, right through there. A lot of people are afraid that they'll throw this out and get stuck and lose their spinnerbaits. You got to take a chance when you're fishing crankbaits, spinnerbaits, square bills. So we're just going to kind of keep on rolling right through here. We got a lot of heavy timber further up, so sometimes they're on that real heavy stuff, sometimes they're not. I'm just using a short little Johnny Morris rod. This thing is only like 6'6", and you know, for shorter casting distances, you know, it's a light, kind of a light action to where I can feel that blade and that spinnerbait moving. So we'll just kind of keep on moving up here nice and slow. Just, the sun's just starting to come up over the mountain right now. Once that sun comes up and gets high, then this bite's gonna die. So we just want to come up and show this to you while we're here earlier. I'll just fish some of this heavier stuff you see in front of me, all these little trees and sticks. I'm only in 3 feet of water right now, so just bumping right through it. I throw it right in the heart of this tanglement of trees is what I'm doing. There's no fish moving on bait up here or nothing. It's just perfectly still. There's no wind. And I can tell you this though too, that if there is wind, it's a better spinnerbait bite. Actually, the windier it is, the better it is. So we're just gonna stick with this, just cover some water real fast, just to see if we can get these fish to react to this, catch a few of them. I'm throwing it right in the weeds. I mean, right in it. I'm just constantly bumping trees. There's one right there. Followed it right up to the boat. Not a giant, but he's a spinnerbait fish. You got to catch the little ones with the big ones, folks. But boy, I'll tell you, the spinnerbaits are a fun way to catch fish. You know, just a nice little one. So I'll just let him go here. So I'm still using the same spinnerbait. I haven't busted out any of the other ones yet to try. I'm just slow rolling this thing. I came back up by the mountain up here by the rocks just to try this, just to see if I could get one to hit, you know, up close to the rocks. So that was my goal, just to try something different. I was way out there in the lake. Now I'm fishing the rocks. So I'll tell you what, how important it is. I think 75% of catching fish is casting. Okay, so if you're not a good caster and you're just learning to bass fish, man, I tell you, nice little presentations, you know, nice and smooth up by the bank, sure can get you another fish or two. If you're casting it overhead like this and it hits the blank, you hit a really big splash. Okay, so the trick is just to kind of roll it underhand and just get it right up there by the bank. So you can see in my background, there's a really nice log sticking up. So what I'm going to do is cast over the top bump it, then let it fall. Sometimes I could get a reaction bite, you know, from a fish underneath that log. So I'm not going to give up on that tree stick yet. Let's try a different approach. Let's just go past it, let it sink down. I'm only in 3-4 feet of water, so we'll let it sink down, and we'll just go where the root is. See, I bumped it there. So at least make a few casts just to see if you can get the fish to hit. Nice and easy, just right up there, close to shore. The fish should still be out roaming around. It's still early. We went back up under the mountain here where it's still a little bit shady. Where we started was out in the sunlight, and that sunlight and the shade make a huge difference. So we're just going to play around by these sticks right now and just bump those little tree limbs right there. Nice and slow. Nice and slow, just easy. Now, up here in front of me, you got a good camera angle that there's a wad of trees up here, right in here, and I see shad flickering in the trees. So usually where you're seeing some shad, you know, dimpling or close by, the bass are usually close by to that. So we'll just kind of put a few casts up in that area just to see if anything's around the area. A lot of bluegills out today too. That's another reason I chose this kind of skirt, because it's kind of got a light bluegill touch to it, resemblance in color. Bluegills always have a little light spot on their body, kind of a chartreuse. That's why I use chartreuse so much on my baits, for that reason. That sun's going to creep over this top of this here pretty quick. You know, everybody always asks me, why did the bass quit biting when the sun comes up over the mountain? Why do you always talk about that? Well, bass don't have eyelids, so that bright sun starts hurting their eyelids. So when that happens, they got to start moving down in the water column a little bit, or get in some heavy trees or some brush, just to, because they don't like that bright sun. You know, every once in a while you'll get one that's still out in the sun, but right now it's most of them will just kind of either go right in that real heavy brush, and then I'll take a brush hog or a worm or something, and I'll start dunking it in these bushes here. Here's a nice big tree limb right here. Let's see if there's anything on this. So I'm going to go as close as I can and run that bait right close to those big old limbs and just bump it. There it is. Nope. Nobody home on that one, that's for sure. Let's go to the other side. Don't give up on it so fast. You just never know. Just be quiet. That's all you can do. There's nothing out here. There's no wind, no nothing. That makes fishing tough. Wind is your friend. I know it's hard for boat control on some of you guys with aluminum boats and stuff, but you can always just drift with the wind. I'm going to go right in the center of the tree. I'm going to bump those tree limbs right down the center. Oop. Just hit a big old limb. I let it fall to the bottom. Nothing took it.
Okay, rolling.
I got one in the trees, guys. Let me get this out. Uh-oh. I see it. Oh, I lost him. Man, that was a nice one. He was a good one. Woo! Well, got another hit, you know, in bright sunlight, so that tells me right there, boy, when they get stuck in those trees, what happens is the bait is stuck in their mouth. The hook comes through their mouth, and the hook gets caught in the trees, and the fish gets off that quick. So, you know what? We're gonna end this show, and you know, you've been watching Fishing with Gary, but hopefully you got some tips on spinnerbaits. You know, small spinnerbaits. I like to use the small finesse spinnerbaits in the summertime, and these are just this is just a 3/8. All right, I make them 3/8, ½ ounce, 5/8, 3/4, and 1 ounce. So we've done a little bit on the 5/8 and 3/4. So maybe one of these days we'll go out and show you what it's like to dredge these things out in 25, 30, 35 feet of water. So again, thank you for watching our shows. If you need a guide trip or something, you'll see my phone number on there. Also, we're giving away another free fishing trip. Yep. All you got to do is click that thing with Liberty Mutual and get a quote. Even if you don't buy the insurance, you still, by clicking, will get a quote, and you're still entered in for a free trip. We gave one away a month ago up here, so we're starting all over and going to try that again. Thanks again for watching Fishing with Gary. Uh-oh, I got one. Check this out. It's a big fish. Whoop, had him on. Shit. God damn, that was a big one. Did you see that?
That's all, folks.